Good afternoon, welcome. Today the order of speakers will be Sheriff Alex Villanueva and Captain Rob Jones of Operation Safe Streets Bureau. He's the unit commander. And I won't delay things any further. Sheriff of Los Angeles County, Sheriff Alex Villanueva.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today marks an important milestone for an incident that you will see some of the details of that it shocks the conscious, but sadly it's become just another one of many incidents that are happening with far too great frequency throughout Los Angeles County, which is crimes involving guns. And this impacted two of our own kids up in the North County area. And thankfully, they both survived and they're recovering. They have a long road to recovery. I spoke with the mothers of both parents of both kids today, and they're grateful for the support they received from the Sheriff's Department. I'm thankful for the community for rallying, coming together, and identifying the culprits of this, and which is an important step. What we don't know is what's going to happen now with our district attorney and how the case is going to follow through. So whether or not they're going to be held accountable, that's going to be another question that we'll determine shortly. But it's the level of violence, the proliferation of guns on the streets, and the willingness of gang members and just young people in the area of just using firearms against each other, confronting law enforcement, and they don't think twice about it because they know the consequences have been severely diminished. With a zero bail schedule, with now where it seems like the movement from the district attorney's office is let's cuff the cops and release the crooks, and that whole mentality is making its way onto the streets now, where it's getting more and more dangerous for our community members. So we need to definitely start really rethinking what our role is, what reform really means in the criminal justice system, and who's benefiting from this reform. Because right now, I don't see victims of crime benefiting anything from this reform movement. And is it truly a reform movement? Or is it just the criminal lobby trying to make life easier for them by reducing consequences for engaging in violent crime? So let's think long and hard about that. But let me introduce Captain Rob Jones of our Operation Safe Streets Bureau.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Captain Rob Jones. I'm currently assigned as the unit commander for Operation Safe Streets Bureau, or OSS. OSS is the investigative unit assigned to investigate gang-related crimes and to prevent investigating gang-related crime suppression and prevention of gang violence in our communities. So the shooting I'm going to brief illustrates the criminal conduct of gang members that plague the urban sprawl of Los Angeles County, the impact of violent crimes involving firearms on families and communities, and the ever-increasing issue of untraceable and unregulated ghost guns. On June 18, 2021, at approximately 9:50 p.m., Lancaster deputies responded to Raven Lane and Avenue J4 in the city of Lancaster regarding an assault with a deadly weapon call for service. Upon their arrival, deputies discovered two males suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to their torsos and lower extremities. Approximately 30 expended shell casings were found at the scene. Both victims were transported to a local hospital where one victim remains in serious condition while the other has been released to recover at home. OSS investigators responded to the scene and began an exhaustive investigation into the shooting. During the investigation, it was discovered the shooting was captured on a neighboring surveillance camera. We do have the video available and we're going to play it. And I will forewarn you, it is a bit graphic and shocking, as the sheriff indicated. And if we can play the video, I will narrate after the video's ended. Now, what you saw was on the video, it depicted the two 18-year-old male black victims walking southbound on Raven Lane, approaching Avenue J4 in the city of Lancaster. As the suspects headed northbound on Raven Lane on a bicycle and a skateboard, after passing the victims, the suspects suddenly stopped and immediately began shooting toward the victims, striking them multiple times, as we saw in the video. Through innovative investigative techniques, the assistance of community members, and Lancaster Station Patrol, investigators were able to identify one male black adult suspect and one male black juvenile subject in his teens, believed to be involved in the shooting. On June 29, 2021, the perpetrators were taken into custody for 2 counts of attempted murder by Lancaster and Palmdale OSS investigators. During the comprehensive investigation, OSS investigators authored and served search warrants at 2 locations: a semi-automatic AR-15 style rifle pistol ghost gun and 2 semi-automatic ghost guns, along with high-capacity magazines and ammunition were seized. The suspects connected to the shooting and 3 additional individuals were also arrested throughout the investigation. The adult suspect, who was a self-admitted gang member, admitted to his involvement in the shooting to investigators. Based on current laws, the juvenile was unable to be interviewed by investigators. Both the adult and juvenile cases will be presented to the District Attorney's Office for filing considerations today and tomorrow. The adult suspect has an extensive criminal history and is currently on parole under post-release community supervision. And as we saw, the video depicted a very heinous and brazen crime on 2 innocent victims who have 0 gang ties, 0 criminal history. And the OSS investigators behind me worked tirelessly to solve this crime, and they did it in record fashion. So I'm very proud of these individuals, and I'll take any questions.
When you talk about the individual, the adult, you said multiple. How many times has he done state time at this point, and why was he released, or do we know?
If I'm correct, he had 6 felony arrests, 2 felony convictions, and he was released due to the new laws on PRCS.
Acronyms, what?
The post-release community supervision parole.
And was their judgment that somehow this guy with that kind of an arrest record was not a risk to the community?
Clearly he was, but that's beyond us. That's in the courts and the judicial system.
On the AR style, basically that's a Patriot type thing on this one. Again, we're talking a ghost gun, no serial numbers on the upper frame at all, or lower frame?
Lower frame, correct. Correct. They're not serialized, they're untraceable, which makes it difficult for the investigators to determine the origin of the firearms.
How often are you guys running into so-called parts guns like this? I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, you'd see them occasionally. Or now, are we seeing them, what, every 5?
It's commonplace. It's commonplace. It's I'd probably be a better fit for one of my investigators to come up and speak to that, but the firearms, the vast majority are ghost guns.
And they're buying parts, so they're technically not even going through a legal gun sale or anything else like that.
You can order a ghost gun kit from the internet, and you're getting all the components of a firearm, and the lower component, which makes it an actual firearm by law, they call them 80%ers. So they'll send you the kit, and it's 80% completed, and they'll send you the drill bits and so on and so forth, and any hand tools. You can drill out a couple holes, and now you have a functioning firearm.
What about the handgun? Do we know if that was purchased legally or what? Any idea?
It was a ghost gun, so I'd imagine,
Also,
and those, there's no regulation on those.
any kind of a name of manufacturer on it? Is there anything at all?
No.
This juvenile, what is going to happen to him? I mean, he's admitted to being a part of this thing. He fired shots as well. How are you presenting this case to the DA for prosecution?
If I may, investigators haven't had the chance to interview him based on current laws, so he hasn't admitted any culpability in this crime.
We have both these people involved, 2 guns involved, 2 people possible shooters, and the law doesn't give your investigators the ability to question this guy at all?
Well, the law stipulates that due to the subject's age, they have to confer with their attorney, and they don't have the ability to waive their Miranda rights. Regardless, they have to confer with an attorney. So at the point they're arrested, unlike the adult who has the opportunity to waive their Miranda rights and speak to an investigator, a juvenile doesn't. They have to confer with an attorney regardless of they want to waive their Miranda rights or not to speak to the attorney or speak to the investigators.
We know where that juvenile is now.
Transported somewhere.
You want to come on up, John? This is Detective Livingston. He's the investigating officer for the investigation.
Detective, give me your full name also.
Yeah, my name's Detective Jonathan Livingston. The juvenile was transported to Sylmar Juvenile Hall yesterday night after the arrest.
So at least we know where he is. He isn't going anywhere at this point.
At this time, he's in custody, and the case was presented to the Juvenile District Attorney's Office for prosecution.
Any indication at this point of the motivation behind this crime at all?
At this point, due to the sensitivity of the investigation and the fact that it was just presented, and out of respect for the victims, to have a fair trial and to move forward with this investigation, I don't want to get into too much details as far as motive or details with the investigation. So respectfully, it's a little hard to answer that question.
Neither of the victims, any gang ties, any criminal activity at all on their behalf?
Both of my victims, absolutely not. They couldn't have been nicer kids when we interviewed them and talked to them. No criminal history that we're aware of, and had just recently graduated high school 2 weeks ago.
Go ahead, I can't say anything. If I do, it's going to be completely inappropriate.
During the interview, did the adult suspect state why he shot the victims?
Sir, I think that question was just answered by Detective Livingston for the gentleman over here. Due to the sensitivity of the case, we don't want to speak to that.
Are these 2 people who are suspected of doing the shooting part of an established street gang in that area? So how long has that gang been running, do we know?
It's to my understanding the street gang that this person, which I'm not going to put out, is not organic to Lancaster. It's a street gang in the city of Los Angeles.
So bottom line is, you've got the home base here, but these guys have migrated out to the 661 or whatever.
Correct.
Are we finding that more and more?
Yes.
They go 661 or 909, right?
Correct.
Thought so.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and do some comments in Spanish right now.
En resumen, el 18 de junio de este año hubo un tiroteo en el Valle del Antílope, por la ciudad de Lancaster, a las 9:50 de la noche. Y al resultado de ese tiroteo, 2 jóvenes de 18 años, 2 jóvenes inocentes afroamericanos, acaban de graduarse de la escuela superior hace dos semanas y recibieron balazos en el cuerpo y en las piernas, y los 2 sospechosos se dieron a la fuga. Estaban en bicicleta y en patineta. Y a raíz de un esfuerzo enorme entre los detectives aquí del Departamento del Alguacil y con la ayuda de miembros de la comunidad, pudieron identificar y establecer quién fue responsable por este tiroteo. Y a alturas del 29 de junio los 2 fueron arrestados y hoy enfrentan cargos de intento de asesinato con el fiscal del distrito. Y esto es otro caso donde las balaceras están ocurriendo más frecuentemente. La cantidad de armas de fuego que están disponibles a los criminales y a los jóvenes en las calles sigue aumentando, y todas las pólizas que están disminuyendo las consecuencias de involucrarse uno en delitos graves está empeorando la situación, porque más y más gente están tomando armas de fuego y lo están usando y lastimando a nuestra comunidad. Esto es algo serio y tenemos que tener un resultado diferente, algo diferente. Y los que quieren decir que esto es reforma, esto no es reforma, esto es crimen. Punto y acabado. Gracias.
And that will conclude the press conference. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact my office and we'll respond. Thank you. Have a good evening.